Well, guys, it's official. I am waiting till the market crashes. What's up, guys? It's McKeown back again with another video this week, and I am not going to be waiting until the market crashes, but that is something that I hear on the daily from whether it be brand new investors that are just too scared to get into the market or experienced investors that think they know it all and are choosing to wait until some said market does crash. Now, first things first, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice either for you. Now, I am a local real estate agent in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. I'm also a real estate investor. I do have a portfolio of close to, I guess technically once my commercial property closes, it'll be north of $3 million in real estate owned. But at the end of the day, I don't see a crash happening, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. Now, there are going to be some other sub-markets that this potentially could see a bellow out and kind of flatten. But in my local market, in the Texas market as a whole, we are honestly still seeing significant price increases in the home market here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a few reasons. So first things first, a ton of people are moving here. Now, a ton of people are moving here because they have the flexibility to do so, but also our economy here and the job opportunities, as well as just starting your own business. I started my own business here 4.5 years ago in real estate, is just honestly pretty sweet. Now, it's just a numbers game at the end of the day. If you have a metroplex of millions and millions of people and not a ton of them are moving out of the metroplex, but you're having tons move in, there's just not enough housing here to support the influx of people we have moving here. So new builds are continuously building and building further out in the metroplex, as well as a lot of people that do live here are seeing such significant increases in their home values that they're actually selling, their first home that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500, maybe 1,800 square feet, and they're taking the equity that they have earned in the last 5-10 years in that house and upgrading to a much larger house. Now, that house that they sold is being sold to someone that just relocated here, but they also have to upgrade to a larger house. So we're still dealing with a shortage of inventory in our market that we've really been dealing with since the start of 2020, really the first couple months of 2020. Now, I'm originally from Washington, and I've actually lived in California, Southern California, San Diego area for about 5 years in my early 20s. And those both areas are areas that are landlocked, meaning that there's not a ton of available land for builders or home builders to continue to grow, continue to build new homes for individuals that are moving to those markets. So in Texas, especially in my market in DFW, we have almost infinite land. We have so much opportunity for builders to come in here, and even if it's a one-off builder, if it's the largest builder in the country, they have so much opportunity here because we have so much land to continue to grow out further beyond our current metroplex. Now, just giving you guys an example, I moved here to the Dallas-Fort Worth area in 2017. There's a freeway called 380, which runs west and east on the north side of Dallas, the north suburbs of Dallas. To be honest with you, in 2017, I was not even aware of this freeway. I never even ventured up to 380 because it was just too far north. Nothing was really happening up there, and it was honestly quite rural. There wasn't a ton of development. Now, fast forward 4.5 years since I've got licensed and moved here, there's a city that's north of 380 called Prosper, and they're building their second high school. Just to give you guys some idea in terms of just how much our metroplex is growing. So what does this mean for a first-time home buyer or a first-time investor trying to house hack a single family or house hack a duplex, or potentially an experienced investor that's trying to acquire maybe their 10th single family or 5th multifamily or maybe an apartment complex? Well, I can tell you the values are not going down. I'll give you another example. I helped someone purchase a home in October of 2020 in Frisco, which is a very hot area of North Texas. They bought it for $400,000 and paid a little bit above appraised value. Appraised value is what an appraiser deems the property to be worth. They paid $400,000. I believe it appraised at $385,000 or $390,000, so not substantial. Now, they decided that North Texas wasn't for them. They decided to relocate back to where they're from, sold it in October of 2021. Again, they purchased it for an above appraised value of $400,000. A year later, they sold it for $530,000, $130,000 above what they purchased it for just 12 months ago. Now, there's nothing wrong about people wanting to hold off and wait till some said market does crash. That's entirely their opinion. That's entirely their right to choose. But I can tell you, if I waited in 2018, or I guess at the end of 2017, to purchase my second property because I thought the market crashed, I would have lost out on over 6 figures in income that I was able to sell the property for in 2021 this year. I would have also missed out on the opportunity to purchase my third property in 2019, where where I'm now selling it for $200,000 in profit or $210,000 in profit that I'm actually using to 1031 to a commercial property. And I would have also lost out on the opportunity for my primary residence, as well as another single family rental, as well as another single family rental that I closed on just a couple days ago. Now, the market's obviously been hot here, and no one at the end of the day can time the market, but I'm telling people, and again, caveat, this is not financial advice, but I'm telling people if you can purchase a house, you need to absolutely purchase a house. Now, I will give you guys an example because this actually popped up on my Facebook feed just the other day. It was a post from a friend on my Facebook page on December 19th of 2020. I'm just gonna read it to you guys and give you kind of an idea of where my head was a year ago and just where my head is now. This individual said, those buying homes at this price, be aware that interest rates are low, but home prices are overrated. In 1 or 2 years, when home prices go back to the baseline, you might end up with negative equity in your house. Keep your down payment and stay woke, a thought to share. Right time to sell though, for those who want to sell as is with no repairs. She's obviously a wholesaler and investor. She wanted the opportunity if you wanted to sell, she would purchase it. So I made a comment a year ago saying, I don't see our Metroplex losing any value, not with the influx of folks moving from out of state here. Also, if there's any drawback, as no recession in my mind is going to occur at the level of which 2008 did, we are likely one of the top areas to be affected the very least. And I'm talking about the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're at a point that if you buy a home and can buy a home, you absolutely should. With interest rates where they are, countless people this year wind up paying less than their actual rent is. Now, I went on to reply a couple more times, just reiterating the fact that I believe our market, as well as just the real estate market in general, is still very hot. Again, this was a year ago, and she reminded me that if this doesn't happen, I would owe her $100 or $1,000. Well, lo and behold, a year later, she actually reminded me of this post and said that, Casey, you were so right. Any expected future changes in the housing market? And honestly, not a lot has changed in the last 12 months. We are continuing to see houses being sold well above the appraised value, people waiving the appraisal, people just at the end of the day wanting to have a home. Now, there may be some things that scare you, such as that, meaning paying more than the actual house is worth or waiving your appraisal, but I'll give you an example here, okay? The house that sold for $530,000. A year ago, it sold for $400,000. Well, it sold for $530,000. It likely wouldn't have appraised for $530,000, but it was a cash offer, so we didn't have to worry about it. But every single house in that neighborhood now, even though a year ago that very house sold for $400,000 and was a usable comp at $400,000, within really the last 9 to 12 months, it probably would have been a comp to be used, shortly after it sold to really the next 6 months. Now the house a year later though sold for $530,000. So anyone in that particular subdivision that had a similar home that wanted to sell their home a year ago were probably looking around $400,000 to sell their home. And that's probably because the local comp supported $400,000. Now, fast forwarding just 12 months later, because that sold at $530,000, that $530,000 is now a comp. So everything in that subdivision that is similar to that house is not worth $400,000, it's worth $530,000 because that comp now supports the value of $530,000. Now, to give you another example that's actually happening right now. So a couple months back, I really wasn't in position to purchase a rental property. However, a good friend of mine, and I've made a few videos already of it, and I'll make a couple more kind of showing the progress once it gets remodeled. But he approached me with an opportunity to purchase a single family rental, and I had no desire or really wasn't in a position to do so. But I thought, hey, if I can make this work, it's definitely going to pay off. It wasn't a slam dunk deal. It wasn't something that, I could go out and feel comfortable getting hard money for. So at the end of the day, I just wound up putting about $50,000 down on a $240,000 or $250,000 house. So the loan value is going to be at about $200,000. Gonna put about $25,000 into it, so I'll be all in around $275,000. It'll be worth at the end of the day about $325,000 with little to no expenses with the house. New roof, 2 new HVAC units and fully remodeled, all new windows and new foundation adjusted. Really, again, not any expenses that I'm gonna have to worry about moving forward. So I wound up putting $50K of my own money in. I'm not going to refinance and pull that out, but because of that, I'm going to instantly get an additional $50K in equity. And that house is 2,600 square feet and 4 bedrooms in my market. You're really not gonna be able to find homes for under $300,000 here soon. And I'm talking your traditional starter 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So the fact fact that it's currently worth 325 right now as a large 4.3, I can easily see the value continuing to climb, especially with the way the market is trending, to close to 400,000. And again, this is a house that I purchased for 240 and put about 30 into it. So you see the opportunities that are there, and those opportunities may not be slam dunk deals now, but as long as the market continues to do what it does, or even at some level even cool off, I'm gonna be just fine with the properties I've purchased. Now, being in the industry for a little over 5 years now, I'm well connected with agents across the country, as well as other influencers just in the real estate network and market to begin with. No one's really leaning towards the market correcting significantly to any extent. You obviously want to be smart when it comes to your investments. You want to make sure that, if you're putting 10 years of your savings into a rental property, it's a big deal, right? It's something that's going to take a lot of effort just to feel comfortable doing so. But at the end of the day, risks are meant to be taken. And I think any investment is going to have some level of risk. Personally, I think real estate at the end of the day is almost the least risky of investments that you can really make out there. I obviously have money in the stock market that isn't making me any money, honestly, right now. I did do crypto for a while, but I am not a crypto trader, so I am out of that. Most of my money at the end of the day is in a hard asset, and that is in real estate, because to me, people are always gonna need a house. People are always gonna need a roof over their head, and I can give that to people by being a landlord and real estate investor. Now, I didn't really speak about everyone's potential financial position. If you've got low credit and no money, obviously it's going to be very difficult for you to purchase a house. But if you're sitting on 200K cash in your bank account and you're not doing anything with it, you're honestly losing money due to inflation. Now, I actually heard a recent study as well. 1 in every 5 houses that were purchased in my local market were non-owner occupied homes, meaning individuals that were putting money into a house not to occupy it. What does that mean? It's an investment. So with that being said, if you are in a position to be able to purchase, I highly advise you to do so. But at the end of the day, it's truly got to come from you, and it's got to be a decision that you make. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help, and stay tuned for the next video.